for me, I think a lot of people do feel cheated by the fact that it isn't a horror film in the end. I think a lot of people, but if you go with, I suppose, the twist, the change of reality halfway through, I think it actually becomes quite a powerful and meaningful movie, just like Martyrs. I think it actually has a message of hope at the end in the same way that Martyrs does. And I think it connects in quite interesting ways because of the whole, sort of like there's a conspiracy, there's an organisation doing something. So
it really depends on the definition you have about what is a horror film. I think this movie is also a horror film. The way a lot of movies I loved as a teenager were horror films. We all have very different definition about what is supernatural, what is fantastic cinema, what is a horror film. This movie is probably, as the American call it, like a crossover, like it's a mix of everything. But as a member of the audience myself, when I was watching, I don't know, I mean, movies that I loved, I enjoyed them also because they were very hard. I mean, it was very hard to put a label on these movies. And I mean, things have turned so formulaic today.
Formulaic?
Yeah, yes. That my only goal, my only very modest purpose as a filmmaker is trying to be as honest as I can, to share something very personal with you, with the audience, and not being cynical, not being self-conscious. That's the way the Tall Man was done. I mean, the idea came from a guy of the FBI, working at the FBI that I met in New York, working on the disappearing minors department. And he told me about the real statistics that opens the movie. And as I was starting to write the story of the movie, I had no idea about the solution, about what I would choose as a solution of the mystery, you know, of the 1,000 kids every year in America that disappear without leaving a trace. At first, I was wondering myself, will it gonna be like an alien abduction solution? Will it be witchcraft? Will it be pedophile, naturalistic stuff? Or will it be something else? And the more I was writing the movie, the more I was getting closer to me and my emotions and feeling that it should be realistic.
Because it changes into, I mean, a lot of people have said it quite similar to Gone Baby Gone. You know,
oh yeah, sure.
They do see the similarity towards the end.
They're right. They're absolutely right. So when I first, I mean, the real stuff is that I started writing The Tall Man before before I saw Gone Baby Gone as a member of the audience. But once again, my first feature film, House of Voices, was such a commercial failure. I know you hate that movie, Alan. Yeah, I did. Maybe he's right, but after that movie, I knew I wouldn't be able to find the money to produce such a movie, you know.
Right.
So, and I in between I saw Gone Baby Gone. I said the themes are the same. It's good that I can't find the money to produce The Tall Man because it's too close to Gone Baby Gone. Let's do another movie. And then I was proposed by a French channel to do a very low-budget horror film, and I did Martyrs. And a few years later, I felt ready to do The Tall Man. All the more as, I mean, The Tall Man is very linked to my first child. My wife got pregnant right before the shooting and delivered right after the shooting. So that changed drastically the tone of the movie. At first, it was looking like more of a Michael Haneke's film. Like it was more like a moral, cold, neutral comment about people, about poverty, about misery, about social issues. And the more my wife got fat, and the more bittersweet, the movie became like. Yeah, like a bittersweet tone, like if I was doing the movie as a letter to my son.
And in France, of course, it's called The Secret. which is, I mean, it says there is going to be one.
It's not my choice. Like,
yeah, I know, but the film did very, very well in France. So
it was a
been
hit.
a massive hit there. So I mean,
I have no idea why.
So do you think that would have been the better title in the end, or would you still prefer The Tall Man?
From a capitalistic point of view, I would say they were absolutely right to rename this movie The Secret because it made a lot of money in France. But I love the Tall Man's title.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
even if the horror fans on internet hated the Tall Man concept because of the Don Coscarella's film, Phantasm, and I love Phantasm. I'm a big fan, but my movie has nothing to do with that. So I was I felt quite about using the Tall Man's name for the movie.
And I do love the way it changes from Jessica Biel's story into Jodelle Fairland's, really. I think that's actually a really... And because this goes back to what you were saying. You wanted to do it in like the old Hollywood storytelling tradition where, you have to sort of work at a film. You don't just get everything just sort of like thrown at you. You have to sort of think it through.
Yeah, because, before being a film director, I still prefer other people's movies than mine. I do movies to buy some DVDs and Blu-rays, of other people's films. I'm a fan, I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, call it whatever you want. And my main problem as a member of the audience today is that movies are driven by producers, mainly by a bunch of people, doing meetings around tables and deciding, what's going to happen in which scene. I lived that experience myself trying to work in Hollywood.
Well, with Hellraiser.
It was Hellraiser, yeah. I spent like 8 months working on Hellraiser, and I really understood, I really found out that Hollywood was like a communist system. It was like in Moscow in the 60s, like 40 people making every single choice to justify their salary, their fee. And I just ran away because I felt too Frenchy, too European to stand that, Besides the money they could give you, I just felt I was betraying myself. So what I mean is that trying to be as close to my own beliefs as I can is my only purpose as a movie maker. So why did The Tall Man? Why my movie was so successful in France? I have no idea, absolutely no idea.
Because it does actually turn into sort of a social realist thing at the end, doesn't it? I mean, it is what people have said to me that they think it's a Ken Loach type. It ends up as a Ken Loach type film because of what it's actually saying. So there is that. So it would appeal more.
I probably disappointed half of my Martyrs fans, and got another audience. Which is very strange because I'm a genre fan. I'm a horror fan. I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. But as a member of the audience, I felt that the horror cinema right now is a bit weak. Allow me to say that American horror films are really bad. And the cycle is down, and I don't feel motivated enough to do another pure horror film, because everything is about industry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you have, I remember that a few years ago when I first saw the first Ring. Remember Ring, the Japanese film? I said, oh, something new is being proposed to the audience, and I feel like doing it motivated me to write Martyrs. Something fresh, something exciting was appearing, but today the American horror is really bad, really formulaic. It's all about franchises being redone, remade, and it's not exciting. So I didn't feel like doing another Martyrs.
Let me throw it over to you if there's any questions out here. There is.